Hi grade 11s, welcome to this video. Today we'll be doing page 113. We have the information here and we have also a diagram here. In the information under the given, we are given the details of the camshaft and the wedge and follower on its lowest position as well as the vertical center line. So what I did, I just extended the center line that is horizontal. So you must also do that. And then specifications are that this camshaft, this circle here, has a diameter of 24. Let me see if my stencil, oh gosh, it doesn't hatch. It means I have to take my compass, open radius 12, and then draw a circle that's 24 millimeters. Oops. Make sure that I zoom it properly. So once you have that, immediately take your set square and hatch because it is a shaft. So you want to hatch that using a B line. So once you're finished with the hatching, you can carry on copying. We can carry on copying this part here, and we still under specifications. We are told that the rotation, the minimum distance of the cam profile to the center of the camshaft is 19 millimeters, and we can see that here there's a 30-degree. The follower is sitting at 30 degrees, so you're going to take our 60 and draw a center line from the center. So if you put it like that, it is 30 degrees. As you can see, that's why we are told that this angle is 30 degrees. And then we can start. We are told that the minimum distance is 90 millimeters, 19. So you open 19, you place it in the center and you mark that distance. Once it's marked, then you can go out 5 on each side because it has a width of 10. So we have 10, and then from here the distance is 60 millimeters. So from the 19 we measure 16, 1/6 up, which is there, and then we're told that the angle there is 60. So if it's 60, that means we're going to use 30 millimeters. So we have to stop. We have to have the pin here. And then we are told that the direction is clockwise. So immediately, let me move the focus from the center. I'm just going to decrease that 19. Just going to draw my direction. So these three things are very important to do: the camshaft, hatched, direction, and the follower. Any other thing comes afterwards. Once we now have done what's under the specifications, we now need to prepare for indicating the motion. We do that first by dividing this shaft into 12 equal parts. Okay, and then you always label 0 where the follower is. That is your 0 degrees. But then where you go will be determined by the rotation of the shaft. So you always label in the opposite direction as this direction of the shaft. So if it's going clockwise like this means we're going to label the motion of the follower is anti-clockwise. So I'm just quickly labeling that. Then wait, 120, 150, 180 degrees. Please don't forget the degrees. Going to 10. 300, 330, This does not make sense. I made a mistake early into the drawing. My labeling was off. So I'm wondering why 360 is not at 0. I didn't get 60 degrees. 90, 120, 50, 180, 210, 240, 270, 300, 330, and 360. Yes, 0 and 360 must always be at the same point. I'm sorry about that. And then once now we've done the preparation for the representing the movement of the follower on the cam profile, we can now go to the instructions. Because this movement comes after we've done this part of the instructions. We are told to draw the displacement graph with a horizontal scale of 30 equals to 30 degrees equals to 8 millimeters, and the vertical scale is 1:1. So in order for us to get the bottom part of the displacement graph, we have to put our pin in the center and then go to the pin of the wedge follower and then transfer that end point there to the center line. Once that is done, you transfer that across. So please always make sure that the bottom part of your graph is in line with this, with the end point of the follower, especially if it is a wedge follower. For the roller follower, it's another different thing. So the scale here, we are told that the scale equals 30 degrees equals to 8 millimeters. This is a displacement graph. Must always label it. There's marks for that. Displacement graph. So I'm now going to mark 8 millimeters 12 times because this is my 0 degrees. Just make sure that there's a decent space between your graph and where your profile is going to be. 8 millimeters. Then I'll mark it 12 times. Then label them 30 degrees. So that is our graph. Now we need to plot our points. And now let's now read the specifications for the movement R of the follower, from 0 to 15 degrees, the follower rises. That's the key word, with uniform motion. And then there's a dwell period, and then it falls again, and then there's a dwell period. So those are the key words that we need to ensure that when we read, we know that once again, we have a rise, we have a dwell, we have a fall. So those are our key words: rise, dwell, fall. So that's how we represent those motions in the graph. So now let us begin. We are told that from 0 to 150, there is a rise at 60 millimeters. If you're going to take your compass or your ruler, it's up to you. And then measure 60. And then they're saying from 0 to 150. So at 150, you are going to mark that 60. And you must then indicate the rise. There is a rise. If you are unsure, you must always start with constructions first. And then we are told that from 150 to 195. 195, it's an angle that can be between 180 and 210. But to confirm that, you do say 180 plus 210, add them, divide that by 2, it gives you 195. So since our displacement scale is 30 equals 8 millimeters, that means we're going to get half of this 8 millimeters to get 195. 195 is the midpoint. So 4 millimeters is there. That's not the one. So this is our 195 degrees. And then in that 195, we can now indicate our dwell from there to there. And then the third movement from 195 to 315, the follower falls at 60 millimeters. That means we need to get another 315. 315 can be between 300 and 330, and to confirm that, we say 300 plus 330 divided by 2. Divided by 2, we get 315. So that means, once again, 4 millimeters between 315 and between 300 and 330. So this angle here is 315 degrees. There is a fall at 60 millimeters. So we are taking that dwell that we had there to now fall back. And then the last one tells us that for from 315 to 360, there is a dwell. So that means we need to outline the bottom part of the graph. D. So that is the displacement graph. Once we have the graph, now we can represent the motion where the shaft is. So you're going to start with 0 degrees. You're going to have a point here already, which is pretty obvious. Then 30 degrees, we use the vertical center line. 40 degrees, you open from the center line. Then you have a point at 30, 60 degrees. You have a point at 60, 90 degrees. Point at 90, 120, and then that's where our dwell starts from 150 all the way to 195. But before that, let's get our 195. So for 195, we need to divide the angle. We know that it is this angle here. So at any distance of your choosing, You're going to draw an angle between those two angles, and then at another distance, open it a bit wider, strike an arc, strike an arc where your two arcs intersect. This arc on this side is not visible. Where they intersect, we're going to draw a line that's passing through that point. All this is done in construction, please. And then this is going to be your 195 degrees. Then once you have that, you can now go take your 150 to 195 point, which is here. So 150, 180, all the way until 195. So there's a point here, and a point there. And then 210. So now that is to represent the fall. 210 is here. And then 240. To 70, and then 300. Then there's 315. So 315 is once again between 330 and 300. So at any distance, we're going to choose an angle. At any distance, choosing an angle. Then we're going to come, strike an arc, where the arcs intersect. We got 350. 315 degrees. Then from there to there, it's a dwell up until 360, which is already brought here. I just need to indicate it. So you're going to have this dwell. So which is here at 360, 330, and 350. So it's from here, there, and back to 360. So those are our points. I'm just quickly going to join them. So let me just use my compass to indicate the dwells, because those ones are at least clean enough to be done with the compass. You're more than welcome to use your flexi curve, please. You are encouraged to use it. And then you have another dwell from 150. So that I need to make sure that I use my freehand properly. And then go from here. So that is the cam profile and the displacement graph. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I was able to assist you.